String instruments.
Instruments producing sounds by the vibrations of strings.
Balalaika. Balalaika.
A type of musical instrument with a three-sided body and three strings, played especially in Russia.
Banjo. Banjo.
A musical instrument with 4 or 5 strings and a body, like a drum that is played by pulling at the strings with the fingers.
Bouzouki. Bouzouki.
A musical instrument similar to a guitar, but with a rounder body and often played in Greek music.
Cello. Cello.
A wooden musical instrument with 4 strings that is held vertically when the legs and is played by moving a bow across the strings.
Double bass. Double bass.
The largest musical instrument of the violin family, which has 4 strings that a player holds up while standing or sitting and plays with a bow. It plays the lowest line of muses in orchestral music and in jazz.
Dulcimer. Dulcimer.
A musical instrument consisting of a wooden box, with wire strings stretched over it, played by hitting the strings with a pair of light hammers.
Guitar. Guitar.
A musical instrument with 6 strings and a flat back. Usually there is a strap worn over the shoulder and played by moving the fingers or plucking the strings.
Harp. Harp.
A large triangle-shaped musical instrument with strings stretched across it that is played by pluck or pull with the fingers.
Lute. Lute.
A musical instrument that has a body with a round back and a flat top, a long neck, and strings that are played with the fingers.
Mandolin. Mandolin.
A musical instrument with 8 strings and a rounded back that is held in the hands or on the knee and played by moving the fingers across the strings.
Ukulele. Ukulele.
A small guitar or banjo with 4 strings.
Viola. Viola.
A wooden musical instrument with 4 strings, slightly larger than a violin, which a player holds against his or her neck and plays with a bow.
Violin. Violin.
A small wooden musical instrument with 4 strings that a player holds against his or her neck and plays with a bow.
Zither. Zither.
A musical instrument shaped like a flat box, with many strings stretched across it that you pull at with your fingers.
Percussion instruments.
Those instruments that produce sound by being struck, hit, or rubbed.
Bass drum. Bass drum.
A large drum that produces a low sound.
Chimes. Chimes.
A musical instrument consisting of a set of metal tubes that are hit to produce a ringing sound.
Cowbell. Cowbell.
A bell that is hung from a cow's neck, so that the cow can be found, or a metal musical instrument in the shape of such a bell that is hit with a stick.
Cymbal. Cymbal.
A flat, round musical instrument, made of brass that makes a loud noise when hit with a stick or against another cymbal.
Drums. Drums.
A musical instrument that made from a skin stretched over the tube edge, played by hitting with the hand or a stick.
Maracas. Maracas.
A musical instrument consisting of tajalo containers filled with beans or small stones. They are shaken to provide the rhythm for some types of music.
Marimba. Marimba.
An instrument like a xylophone, but with a lower sound, having a row of wooden bars fixed along a frame that you hit with sticks.
Snare drum. Snare drum.
A small drum with twisted wires stretched across the bottom that shake against it when it is hit.
Tabla. Tabla.
An Indian musical instrument consisting of a pair of small drums that you play with your palms and fingers.
Tambourine. Tambourine.
A small musical instrument consisting of a circular wooden frame with metal discs loosely attached to it, shaken or hit with the hand to make the discs ring.
Timpani. Timpani.
Large metal drums with round bottoms that played in an orchestra.
Triangle. Triangle.
A musical instrument consisting of a thin metal bar bent into a triangle shape that is hit with a metal bar to make a sound.
Vibraphone. Vibraphone.
A musical instrument consisting of a frame with a set of metal bars in it that you hit. The bars have electrical devices attached to them that make them vibrate, so that they produce musical notes that seem to shake slightly.
Xylophone. Xylophone.
A musical instrument consisting of flat wooden bars of different lengths that are hit with sticks.
Keyboard instruments.
They are musical instruments played using keyboards.
Accordion. Accordion.
A box-shaped musical instrument consisting of a folded central part with a keyboard, played by pushing the two ends towards each other.
Harmonica. Harmonica.
A small, rectangular musical instrument, played by blowing and sucking air through it.
Harmonium. Harmonium.
A musical instrument with a keyboard that makes sounds when metal reeds thin pieces are made to vibrate by air that is forced past them by pressure.
Harpsichord. Harpsichord.
A musical instrument similar to a piano. It was played especially in the 17th and 18th centuries.
Piano. Piano.
A large musical instrument with a row of black and white keys that are pressed to play notes.
Pipe organ. Pipe organ.
A musical instrument with a keyboard, in which sound is produced by air being forced through pipes of different sizes and length.
Synthesizer. Synthesizer.
An electronic keyboard instrument that can produce and combine a large range of recorded sounds, often in order to copy other musical instruments or voices.
Brass or wind instruments.
These are instruments that produce sound by means of the vibration of air in a tubular resonator.
Bassoon. Bassoon.
A large musical instrument that is played by blowing into a long, curved tube.
Clarinet. Clarinet.
A tube-shaped musical instrument that is played by blowing through a single reed.
Flute. Flute.
A tube-shaped musical instrument with a hole that you blow across at one end while holding the tube out horizontally to one side.
French horn. French horn.
A musical instrument that consists of a long metal tube bent into circles with a wide opening at one end, played by blowing down the tube and moving the fingers on valves.
Oboe. Oboe.
A tube-shaped musical instrument, played by blowing through a double reed at the top.
Piccolo. Piccolo.
A musical instrument like a small flute that makes a high sound.
Saxophone. Saxophone.
A musical instrument, usually made of metal, that is played by blowing into it to make a reed vibrate. They are made in different sizes.
Trombone. Trombone.
A large brass musical instrument that you play by blowing into it and sliding a U-shaped tube in and out to change the length and produce different notes.
Trumpet. Trumpet.
A brass musical instrument consisting of a metal tube with one narrow end into which the player blows and one wide end. 3 buttons are pressed in order to change notes.
Tuba. Tuba.
A brass musical instrument consisting of a long, bent metal tube that the player blows into, producing low notes,